Ladies, gents, what a day it was. 3 games of footy, and it really just burns me watching Dangaga go around, especially when the Knights are playing incredibly well. And this is a massive victory for them. They actually gives themselves a chance of making the 8 now. So it's them and Manly both on that 25 points. And yeah, 3 points out, obviously, from a bunch of the quality teams in sort of 7th and 8th at the moment in Souths and Cowboys, but there are a few teams on the slide like the Sharkies and potentially the Raiders. They could sneak out, but I think that they will stick in. I think the Raiders will. I think there's space for one more team, in my opinion, of the Knights and Manly if they can. If they can get there, and I think they're playing really, really well, and obviously Ponga absolutely dominating that right side, really strong as well with Gags and obviously Dom Young. They're working really well together. Having Elliott back, he seems to be getting better through the middle, obviously. Leo Thompson's growing into his role. Frizzell didn't have to do a lot in this game, but he's so great on that right side. They're using Fitzgibbon great as well, and Hastings just steering the ship around. So very, very impressive from the Knights, and obviously some really big scores come from that as well with Gags at 74, the 2 line breaks, a couple of tries there, big run meters. Obviously, we know what he can do tackle, break, and offload wise, which is probably a little bit low compared to his standard, and defending really well at 19 for one miss there. Very, very good. Ponga, so 63 ended up going up 4 overnight. There's a few guys that went up. Garrick went up. DCE went up 5 or something like that. I don't know what was going on with those scores. They updated, and then they've updated again. And then Jack DeBellin got an extra 4. So, yeah, strange overnight there. And Horsburgh went up as well. So we'll go through that in a sec. A few of these guys all updated, strangely enough. But Ponga continues to dominate. If you had him as captain this game, I don't think many did, but if you did, yeah, happy days with the 63. Take that every day of the week, especially with a few of the other captaincy options this week. He beat them out for sure. Fitzgibbon continues to dominate, guys. Yeah, 50 plus each and every week when he does play the decent minutes there. 69 in this one, so got and obviously an early shower. Unfortunately for him, and otherwise he could have gone way bigger in that one there. Taps 61 minutes, so yeah, frustrating one for Horsburgh owners that he wasn't able to get the big minutes, and I did see a bunch of people captaining Horse this week, and it's just so unlucky, isn't it? And yeah, when Cleary goes as big as he did, it's just the disparity between them, and apparently Sticky afterwards. Let's just go talk about Horse now while we're here. He's obviously on most people's lips. He goes, "Oh, I didn't realize I had him on the bench for that long." Oh, cool. Thanks, Ricky. But then he just, once he came out, I think he was trying to affect some change in the squad, obviously, and just flew out of the line a couple of times, and it was never, he was trying to make a hit, but for fantasy wise, right, if he makes that hit, even if he falls to the ground and slightly gets back up and someone else jumps on him, it's a missed tackle. So he did that twice when he came back on, and we needed him to get closer to scoring plenty of points, and then he was about an inch from scoring a try as well, which sucked. But yeah, 48 minutes for him is not where we want. Obviously, his PPM usually is better than that, but as I said, those jumping out of the line tackles in the air did not help him in this one, with only one offload and a tackle break. So yeah, 30 for Horse, very, very disappointing. But hopefully he's back to big minutes next week. But again, we don't know what Ricky's going to do. It's super frustrating what happens with him there. Taps 51. So, yeah, obviously big minutes, which is very good. Exactly what you'd be wanting, and a solid score. He's obviously a little bit under what he's priced at, but, guys like Payne Haas are getting 55, so you'll take the 51 from Taps there for sure. Gamble got a try, which was nice for him. Timoko, he was pretty low for a lot of this game, and then ended up with a try saver turnover tackle, unfortunately. For those that don't own him, good for those that do. 44 in his books. Frizzell, so 43 for him. A little bit lower than normal. Tackle numbers were a little bit low. Missed a few negatives there. Neg 10. But he had 2 turnover tackles in about I think both on Hudson Young in sort of between the 20th and 30th minute, which bumped up his score. It could have been a lot worse, unfortunately, for Frizz. And this does happen with him sometimes, unfortunately. Just, numbers just seem to be a bit low, base stat wise. And he still seems to get attacking stats numbers, but a couple of misses and stuff here and there. It's going to happen for an edge sometimes. So 43, a bit of a down game, unfortunately, for those that did grab him this week. You missed out on the bigger scores. But that happens to us, doesn't it? We buy someone after they go nuts, and they go lower usually. Always, hey. Marzu with his 42, we got to try 200 meters, a little bit less on everything else. One offload, the 4 tackle breaks, but still did a job for what you've paid for. He's a 50 plus kind of guy most of the weeks, and then he'll get a 40 odd, which is kind of his base, as we said there. And if Knights are still going strong, he's going to get plenty of work, which is good. Crossland's still there. Papali'i, awesome. Bradman Best, 33. Had a try taken off him, which hurts a little bit, but still really solid from his front. Seb Chris, for those that had to play him, 33. He's actually scoring so much better. As soon as everyone started talking him up as a buy, he's just been really consistent. When before that he was hitting 12s, 15s, 14s, and it's like, well, he played a lot of games. You'd think he'd warmed into the role, and it's only the last sort of month that he's come into it and actually been hitting decent scores, which is hilarious how it works that way. And that's probably it. Croker 19. Yep, cool. Let's move on to the next game. But Knights, on the charges for sure. This is an important win for Eagles, but it does show that they are in a little bit of trouble as a potential sort of top 6 team. Like, can they beat those top 6 teams? I really doubt it on their day without Trbojevic, but they worked really hard and got this win for DCE, which was very, very helpful. Oh wow, Lomax went up big too. There you go. He got an extra 6 points as well, so I'm not sure what's happening here, what they were missing, but Jack DeBellin, 63 points, and that included a sin bin, so that's pretty frustrating, and now the call is, and the worry is, does he line up next week, or does he get suspended? And a lot of people are saying it was a bit of bullshit, to be honest with you, that sin bin, and they don't think it was a hip drop, so let's just hope that is true, and he does line up next week, but he has had a lot of fines already. Can you give him another fine for something that he's been served for? And that all remains to be seen, and hopefully you aren't missing multiple guys next week. I'm missing Max King, and I'll be missing DeBellin as well, and this is likely missing DeBellin as well, and this was where my thoughts around actually holding Hopgood over Moses was that it gave me a little bit more flexibility in the mid and the edge position, which was ideal, and hopefully he does line up. But this is a much better game for him. Obviously, a few attacking stats in there, which really helped him out, but base stat-wise was fine as well in that 70 minutes. Lomax just continues to dominate. 230 metres. He had like 24 runs or something crazy to go along with 3 goals, a line break, 7 tackle breaks, and not missing tackles. So very, very impressive for Lomax at the moment, and he's one of those top centre options. Him, Gags are the clear top 2 at the moment, along with a few of the other guys like Garrick and stuff. So unfortunately, I picked the wrong one, but thankfully he went up to a 42, Garrick, because I was very upset, especially, let's speak about him now, especially when he got that pass back on the inside, ended up getting through the tackle, he got ankle tapped or whatever, no one was on him, and he decided to pass it. He was a meter from the line. All he had to do was even crawl over or get up and jump over himself and score, and he didn't end up getting that second try or the try assist. They end up holding him up. Unfortunately, so it could have been 8. It could have been 50 or 52 if you kicked the goal. So that's more of what we expect from Garrick. But this is just one of those games where it was a bit strange. So run meters for him were pretty low. Only 2 tackle breaks, and he had the 4 goals and a try. So very good that he can still get to a 42 without very much happening. We'll speak about someone named Dylan Edwards shortly, and those kind of run meters and tackle break numbers, and then he's much further down the numbers in terms of his total score. So that was Garrick. We'll cop it, but we really wanted a better score against this lesser side in the Dragons, especially when they win. How good's Kohler going? So that side of Saab and Kohler has been absolutely killing it. And where does this come from the young man? Because he was priced at like 315, 320, and now these last 2 weeks he's dominated. So if anyone grabbed him as a cash out, you're absolutely flying. Good stuff. And then Lockie Croker continues to be like after Grant's effort, the second best hooker in the league at the moment for fantasy wise, which is crazy. DCE the 50. So for those that captained him, there were a big bunch of people that did, more than that of Corey, and Payne Haas was another one. So DCE, not ideal, unfortunately. 50, it's solid, and this is what we can expect from him some games, but again, we would have expected, same with Garrick, that they would have scored a lot more points in attack than they did, and it was kind of a bit of a grind for him. Got through it, didn't run the footy too much. Again, lots of a little less time in possession, or a little bit more time spending, sending it down that right side with Kohler and Saab there. And Olakau'atu, rather than running themselves in Garrick and DCE there, and just no attacking stats from him, apart from the couple of line break assists, getting it to those guys on the edge. Matty Lodge, so if anyone looked at him, 45 minutes, probably a little bit lower than we thought, but the effort from his part, 4 tackle breaks and an offload to go along with his base there, no negatives, was very, very good. Olakau'atu, another try. I keep speaking about these guys, Kalamatangi, Olakau'atu, scoring tries, line breaks and getting under 50, pretty upsetting. Dan Russell, gift that keeps on giving for those who grabbed him. If you grabbed him this week, good stuff. 45. He ended up being the better pickup than Jesse Colquhoun, unless he comes back in, and we'll see. We'll see if Jesse does come back in, and I hope he does. But Russell becoming a guy that you can play if he gets 80 minutes. He works hard and he tries his best. He had 4 missed tackles, 2 turnover tackles in there, helped him out to get to this 45. But overall, very, very solid on his front end. Becomes a solid cash out, but he'll be over 300k now, which is an ideal. Little still played 71 minutes, so he thought he might go down a little bit with the young fella debuting, but he only played 10 minutes. I suppose, needing Little on there when it was very close, I suppose. If it was going to be a bit more of a blowout, I'd say he only played 50 minutes or so. Billy Burns got a try, but base stats were very low for him, so they didn't run at him as much because he's one of those guys that gets in and makes the 40 tackles, but only to 23 in this one. For those who are looking at Jake Trbojevic, 41 for him. Lower tackle numbers, a few negatives, unfortunately, for him. Schuster, I saw 1 or 2 people grab him as like a half cash out that's going to play every week, and 38. I think it's one of the guys in the private group. So, well done with the 38. You'll take that for sure. And not much else from there. Kepi down there with low minutes. Maleeson and Madison, low minutes along with Woods. So that's that. And the best game of the round, because we had Captain Cleary. He's back. 101. Beautiful. Had a bit of everything. 2 40-20s. Just terrific work on both of those. And his kicking game was just incredible. He should have had a couple more forced dropouts in the end, which he didn't end up getting because he just kicked him a little bit long. So he ended up with 3 forced dropouts and could have probably had 2 more. They were just a meter or 2 too long. In their chase, unfortunately, he just went over the dead ball line, and then he had 1 kick into the legs of a Sharky. But other than that, his kicking game was superb. Ran the footy a lot more, which was nice. He had turnover tackle in there. He had 4 tackle breaks, 3 offloads. Tackled 13 for 3 misses. He missed those ones early and then did improve his tackling. So, in the last couple of weeks, he'd missed 5 out of, I think, maybe 10 attempts, which wasn't great. So that obviously got back and he started defending a lot better in that second half especially, which was good. And then the 2 try assists. So no tries in here. And to still get 101 is so impressive. And he's the clear captaincy option every week. And as people are saying all over the Facebooks, for those that were waiting for him to lose cash, he's not going to lose any cash. I think he does. He lose a little bit? I think it was just over 100 his break even. But just unfortunate. And we kind of thought that they didn't end up scoring as much through that right side, left side defense for Sharkies than I would have thought. Strangely enough, but really got the job done. The team did. They're so impressive to watch, and the Sharkies did try very hard because this could have been 40 plus, just with the way Panthers were playing, but it didn't end up that way. But still 0 points for the Sharkies. But the biggest storyline of the night really was Cam McInnes and his tackling. NRL.com here has him at 81 tackles, which beats their record by 7, which is just incredible. My question around this is why, when I owned him for that month and no one else owned him, he was a pod, that he didn't get massive tackles like this. He worked hard, obviously, but where's the minutes? 47 minutes some games, 50, 55. We know he's crazy. He played to that broken hand. Came on for a second stint when he had like low minutes of 45, whatever it was, 47 for me in that game. And he had others where I think he had 67 in 51 minutes and 50 odd tackles. So, super impressive. And imagine telling this to your kids or someone asks you, "Oh wow, you got the record for the most tackles in the game." Yeah, it was the worst day of my life. Like, you look at him, he was battered early. He had a cut across his eye pretty early in the game, one under his cheek maybe as well. That might have been the earlier one, and then the cut above the eye. Imagine having to tell that story. But still an offload and a tackle break, 93 run meters as well as the 81 tackles. For those who grabbed him, there were a few, 70 on the top 1,000, I think, that grabbed him. Awesome work, man. We wouldn't have expected this, but we do look at what Max King did for my squad last week. He picked up 40 odd tackles in his 50 minutes, which shows that he would have got 60 odd if he played the full 80 as well against the Panthers. So you're tackling hard if you're playing against the Panthers, that's for sure. Isaiah Yeo got a little spell in this one. You wouldn't believe it. 74 minutes for 71 points with the try early. Runs the footy a lot for this Panthers side. 191 meters, and it seems to turn the defense back a little bit. He bends the line a little bit, gets a fairly quick play ball and gets them going. So he's been great. Jerome Luai, he's playing a much bigger role in this side at the moment. He looks very, very tough to get down. 2 offloads, 12 tackle breaks, running the footy plenty. Early on, I was just like, oh, God, can you just give Cleary the ball, please? Because I was obviously on a fantasy sense. But, yeah, he was great. Line break there. And a try as well for his 68. Jack Williams came on. So they lost Kennedy very early to a hamstring injury, unfortunately. So they'll have to do some shuffling around in the backs there. Talakai should go back to centre full-time. Connor Tracy might be their long-term one. I'm not sure how that's going to work out. But, Jack Williams went into the back row when they made all those changes. And that really hurt Nickera, unfortunately. But Jack Williams benefited there, definitely. So we'll see what happens next week with that. Sorensen, 55. So you end up getting an offload, and then the line break assist, try assist. And I was like, oh, was that really a try assist? I don't know. He passed it back, and Luai just stood there still and then went and ran through like 3 guys. And it's like, well, is that a try assist? I was hoping it wasn't. But it was for those Sorensen owners. So good stuff there. He's just a very, very impressive player. Runs a good line as well. Lindsay Smith did really well. He's 52. Him and Hazleton, really, really good PPMs. Fisher Harris, same thing. PPM beast there. 46 in his 39. Got a line break. Martin, lovely try. Showed his speed and showed his tenacious effort to get that ball down off Cleary. Thank you for that, Liam, for the 5 or 7 points with the goal. To'o, an interesting try. He actually held him over the line, unfortunately. The solid defense there from Ramian. I was very much hoping that it wasn't a 9-pointer that they get off that. That swing is crazy, but like you end up getting the missed tackle, and it's 11-point swing. It's just incredible how that is more than a try in that one effort. And still, I still can't get over how I just want my players to offload at all times, because it's basically a try assist every offload, which is just wild. A line break obviously is the exact scoring, but yeah, Taruva was good. Heinze did have a couple of people ask me, is he done? Should we be moving him on with the Sharks playing poorly? It's against the Panthers. Like, no one's as good as the Panthers. So from here on, it'll be fine. Like what we said with Tedesco, they're in a pretty bad team at the moment. Manu, it'll be better from here. So those 3 guys, Manu, Teddy, Hines, should all be beating their score next week by far. Again, just wasn't really his night. Didn't get to do much. He had no tackle breaks. He had to offload to ground. Nothing else from here. Not even a chance at a goal. So very frustrating. If you do want to move him on, I understand, but surely not with the amount of trades we've got left. But I understand if he's injured or something, sure. But yeah, he's not. Nicolas, he ended up with the line break assist and the line break, 3 tackle breaks and an offload, and 32 points. So that's sad. Yeah, 10 in negatives. Not great, unfortunately. Him and Ramian got the crab runs, those sideways runs that were killing me. 5 tackle breaks, 3 offloads in there, 1 to ground, 2 to hand. But both end up with lower scores, and I suppose you couldn't expect too much from Nico given he got moved to the centres against the Panthers. He needed to be in the back row to score well, get plenty of tackles in this one. It wasn't to be. Still made 17. Ramian still 5 tackles for 1 miss there, 30 points. Unfortunately, for those who grabbed in, they're both holds obviously. But yeah, Ramian scored what? For those that looped Manu out, 15 extra. So that's that there. That's probably it, really. We've got Edwards to finish off with. And yeah, that's it. So 19 for him, as we said when we talk about Garrick. He's one of those guys that he does have a few negatives, obviously, in this one, a couple of errors, but 150 meters, 3 tackle breaks, just isn't involved in all of their attacking plays. Unless he's the one getting a play put on for him, it's just not going to happen as much with the amount of quality that they have, obviously, with Cleary and Luai. Guys scoring through the middle, Isaiah and the like there as well. Edwards is just there to do his thing and be there. There's less of those nice sweeping plays, and he's never really involved in one of them. Just the fall from grace, though, has been just disgusting, really, because he was a 50-plus guy and pretty much the best wing fullback for the first half of the season, and that's absolutely fallen off a cliff. So whatever you want to do with Edwards, I'm happy for you to do. If you want to hold, sweet. If you want to trade, if you want to rage trade him, I completely get it. I'm not going to sway you either way on that one. And I think we're going to leave it at that, guys. That's the 3 games for Saturday. 2 more to come. I think I have 3 players left, one of them being Fafita. And obviously everyone has drink water. So if you have the 1, I think you'll lose a couple of ranks. If you have 2, you might hold, especially if your second one is like Fafita, hopefully. And then I have 3. I think 3 plus, you're going to make some ranks. I hope, anyway, because I'm sitting only just better than where I was. And that's with Cleary as captain, when a lot of people captained, Hines with the 34 DCE. A little bit of Horsburgh as well. So yeah, I think 3 players and plus, I think you're going to be making ranks. So yeah, unless they're like 3 20-point players or something. But if they're solid, then you should be sweet. So that's that, guys, and good luck in those last 2 games.